Hey everyone, I'm Brianna. You may know me as Brianna Stillen on the forums. I'm here today with Kyle Millen, the president of Stillen, and we are going to go over our new TruPower by Stillen cold air intakes for the 2022 to current third generation Toyota Tundra.
Thank you very much for that introduction. Let's get started talking about it. What can I do for you today?
Well, first, there was a delay in the release, which many of our customers are aware of. You want to give some details about that?
Yeah, we definitely didn't meet our initial goals on that, and for that, we do apologize. However, the reality is our goal is to bring the best possible product to market that we can. As you could see in the initial videos that we launched, we actually had the tooling done at that time. But while we were doing our testing, we continued to refine a few things. We started to see that we could make some further improvements. So one of those improvements was simply extending the length of this tab. And that may not seem like very much, but we actually had to basically cut off that side of the tooling, re-weld it back on, remachine everything. So even just to gain about 1/8 of an inch of material right here, we had to rework a lot of the tooling. So it took quite a bit of time. We also then took that opportunity to eliminate the through holes that were here, and now these are molded in brass inserts so that the customer can have a much easier installation there. So we just kind of saw a few areas where we can make improvements, and we decided to take a little bit longer and make those enhancements.
Okay, and what did we do on our TruPower intake to make sure it's up to Stillen's standards?
Yeah, so the whole goal with the TruPower line by Stillen is to get the coldest possible air charge that we can. And so what we're trying to do is we're trying to introduce air from outside of the engine bay, from outside of the OEM location, and we're trying to get a secondary air source. That's going to be increasing our air volume, but more importantly, it's going to be getting the closest to ambient air temperature that we can get. The closest you can get to ambient is where you're going to get your true cold air. What you're getting there is you're getting the most oxygen-rich, dense air charge that you could possibly get, therefore better burn, better horsepower, overall better performance for the vehicle.
Okay. And it was a pretty extensive process to develop this cold air intake. Why do you think that some of these changes were necessary?
Yeah, so we bought our truck in July 2022. So we've been working on this intake for basically that entire time. It was definitely an extensive development cycle. However, like I say, during our testing of the actual finished parts, we just saw a few areas of opportunity that we could make some further enhancements. And that's not really new to Stillen. That's kind of been our design philosophy for decades. When my father started the business, we were not a manufacturer of machined parts or fabricated parts or anything. We were a customer. We would buy from other manufacturers. Due to frustration in not having that full quality control, we developed our own machine shop, we developed our own metal fabrication shop, we developed our own urethane injection molding. So we want that control to be able to produce the highest quality parts that we can absolutely produce. And then, when it comes down to the engineering that goes into these intake systems, we're not afraid to spend that time to go the extra mile. And again, that goes back through our history. You look at some of the intakes that we did for our previous generation, like the Nissan 370Z, we went through 56 prototypes before we finalized that design. And it's just not something that we're afraid to do. Our goal is not to be the first on the market. Our goal is to be the best on the market.
Awesome. So how do we see these improvements impact the overall performance of our cold air intake?
Yeah, so that's ultimately what we're trying to do, right? We're trying to improve the performance of the truck. By bringing in the coldest possible air charge that you can get, you're going to be improving the performance of that vehicle throughout the entire power band and also throughout its life. If you're introducing hot air into the engine bay, you're introducing problems. So we're not trying to increase a larger air volume with hot air, right? We want to get that air volume, but we want to get cold air. So that's why we're going to go to the extent of bringing it in through the front of the grill. As far as just by the numbers, we're seeing a gain of anywhere from about 10 to 15 horsepower through the entire power band at the wheels. When you combine that with our exhaust system and our True Control, we're seeing gains in the neighborhood of 100 horsepower and 100 foot-pounds of torque at the wheels. Wow. So we're seeing massive gains with these parts, and the truck's responding very, very well.
So I have also seen you working in the R&D shop. Do you have any exciting developments that you can tell us about?
Yeah, so I can't go too deep into it. It's still in the works, not ready to share anything yet. I can tell you that what we're working on has warranted a patent application. So we have applied for our patents on it. It's something that we're very excited about. We'll be talking about soon. Just as a little teaser, when we released our first video for this intake system, we started getting some inquiries from customers about other parts. So that had us going further down the line. And when we started to remove some of these parts that were in the intake tract, we started seeing that they were accumulating oil on the countertop that we had set them onto. So you had clean side air intake systems that actually had oil from the PCV system blowing through. So it's something that we're working on now, and fortunately we have been able to figure out through a lot of R&D and a lot of testing, we've been able to figure out how to integrate it without setting off any check engine lights or anything of that nature. So that's why we've got the patent filed, and we're going to be talking more about those in the future.
Well, thank you, Kyle, for sharing all the details about our new TruPower by Stillen cold air intake for the new Gen Tundra.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for all your great questions. If you guys have any more questions, definitely let Brianna know, or drop a note in the comments section. In the meantime, make sure you subscribe so you get updated on all the new products that we have coming for your truck.